All right, let me take you through this story the way a real American would if you asked them how a single whispered 911 call from a backyard changed everything for one family, their whole neighborhood, and maybe in some small way the world. So let's start with a hook, right? Because the way it all kicked off, it's the sort of thing that makes your heart skip. A little boy, Leo, just 7 years old, hiding behind a bush, dialing 911 on an old phone his dad said was only for real emergencies. His voice is barely there, just a whisper. He promised it wouldn't hurt. Now, you hear a kid say something like that, it cuts right through you. And that's exactly how it hit Officer Ethan Hayes, who'd been on the Columbus force for a dozen years and thought he'd seen it all until he saw Leo sitting on those back steps, staring at a red stain on his shirt like it was a secret only he could understand. Now, you got to picture Ethan's house on Oak Avenue, paint peeling, shadows stretching long in the late afternoon, and inside, a dad trying to keep everything from falling apart with duct tape and hope. William Carter, that's Leo's dad, is moving slow, limping from an old factory accident, trying to hold together a family that's been battered by life, lost his job, lost his health, lost his wife when the money and the insurance ran out and the bills started to pile up. There's Leo, carrying worries too big for his small shoulders, and his grandma, mostly lucid in the mornings, needing pills and gentle hands. You get the feeling this family's been holding its breath for years. Ethan doesn't see anything dangerous right away, but something in Leo's eyes keeps needling him. So he starts digging, asks the school, talks to the teacher, finds out Leo's missed a few days, and that his art for a kid is all medicine bottles and recipes for dad's new mix. You ever see a child so focused on caring for everyone else, you realize they've forgotten how to be a child? Yeah, that was Leo, and his teacher, Miss Davish, seen it too. The thing is, sometimes when things fall apart, they do it slow and silent. William's trying to treat his pain and his mom-in-law's sickness with home remedies and herbal concoctions, partly from pride, partly from desperation. No insurance, no money, just a bunch of maybes and a stubborn belief that if he can just hold on a little longer, things will get better. Leo's watching, learning, stepping in to help, missing school to take care of his grandma, saving half his sandwich so his dad doesn't go hungry. You know what I mean? That's the kind of quiet heroism most folks never see. But one day, a rash shows up on Leo's arm, angry, red, spreading in. William tries to fix it the only way he knows, with the same mix of herbs he uses for himself. Only, kids aren't small adults, and this remedy just makes it worse. By the time anyone realizes, the pain's turning into fever, and the shame is thick in the air. William's pride keeps him from the doctor. No insurance, remember, but love pushes him through the doors of the community center, asking Brenda Hayes, a retired nurse, yeah, Ethan's mom, small town, right, for help. Brenda doesn't judge, she just listens, offers a path forward, a clinic with sliding fees, a social worker to help with paperwork, the gentle hand Leo's been missing. That's where the twist really lands. A whole village steps in. Volunteers show up to repair the house, fix the wiring, patch the roof. The teacher bakes cookies, the officer finds a doctor who listens, the nurse organizes paperwork and rides to appointments. And suddenly what was once just one family's problem becomes the community solution. Even the broken porch swing gets fixed. And if you're looking for symbolism, there it is, the past sanded down and made strong enough to hold hope again. But you want drama? There's drama. Child Protective Services steps in, all cold professionalism, talking about medical neglect and temporary placement. And for a heart-stopping moment, it looks like everything William fought for is about to be ripped away. Leo's going to be placed with strangers, the family scattered. That's when Brenda, the teacher, Ethan, and the social worker Maria, all close ranks. They fight, not with anger, but with facts and compassion, arguing that this wasn't neglect, it was a cry for help ignored by the system until now. They win a reprieve. In-home support instead of foster care, resources instead of blame. That's when you remember it really does take a village. You want to see growth? Look at Leo. In the months that follow, the garden in front of their house once just weeds starts to bloom the same way Leo does. His rescued plant, a little green thing he'd nursed back to life, now thriving in fresh soil. William's pain isn't gone, but it's managed. He stands a little straighter, even speaks at the neighborhood center about how asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The family becomes the face of a new support program for struggling neighbors. What was once shame becomes pride. And if you're waiting for that final hook, the open ending, the thing that sticks in your mind, here it is. On a warm night, Leo and his dad sit on that restored swing, looking at the porch light, the new garden, the safe, humming house, and Leo says, "When you called for help that day, you saved us both." William answers, "We saved each other, kid." But then the camera, in your mind, pulls back. You see house after house with their own stories, their own hidden emergencies, their own Leos and Williams. And you're left wondering how many more are waiting for someone to listen, someone to care, someone to answer when they whisper that it hurts. That's the heart of this story, right? Not a tale of blame or rescue, but a lesson in connection, in a messy, complicated way real people look out for each other when the world gets too heavy. So if you've ever wondered what difference a single call can make, there it is. Sometimes all it takes is for one person to speak up and for a few brave souls to listen. Now let's talk. Do you think the system did enough? Should William have lost Leo, even for a day? What would you do if your neighbor needed help and didn't ask? Drop your thoughts below, because trust me, these are the kinds of questions that don't have easy answers, and maybe, just maybe, your voice is the one that starts the next rescue.